Hopefully this is right this time. Yeah, okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Lupus Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Today is going to be another philosophical talk, number 16. And we're going to talk about fear, but this time fear spiritually, okay? The last time we spoke about it, we called it confronting the shadow. Now that video was probably entailed for the mental work of it. Usually the mental work is done in real life and it's real time. But this time we're going to talk about how it relates to the last philosophical talk, number 15. I'm going to put a link on that and the link to the shadow one. But basically, what a lot of people don't know about it is that when you do the meditation, there is a, how do I say this? There is a barrier. Right before you take another step in the journey. So the first step, usually, at least for me, and it was always persistent in the beginning of my life, was that it would always be something that brings great fear to me that I would always run away from or try to hide from, right? And maybe I think like 3 years, no, 3 years. 3 years? No. It was about 5. 5 years ago, there was a time of where everything was bad, and I don't remember this. And I had decided that this time I'm gonna face whatever it was that I was afraid of all the time. And that meditative state brought me to a dark place. Nothing existed, and there was an invisible wall that was coming towards me. And this invisible wall, again, it's invisible, but you're in complete darkness, and you're supposedly walking through the darkness. There is no direction, in whatever direction you're taking, that's the one that you're taking. You're continuously going straight. At least that was from my experience. And then I came across something that I sensed first. I knew it was alive, but not alive. How do I explain that? It felt like a thing, like an object, but it had some form of activity within itself. That's the best way I could put it when I say life. Like, it had some activity within itself. So it wasn't just completely dead or just, an object. Anyways, I sensed it, and it immediately brought fear to me. Like, first it was a little bit, because I'm like, whoa, what is that? Then second, it was like, wait, this is something scary. This is something like really bad. And then finally the third stage is like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And once you get to the fear of death part is when you touch the barrier. Or at least that's how it happened for me. I touched the barrier, right? And the barrier was almost, it was like a tar. It was a black tar. You couldn't escape it. Once it grabbed you, like, you could struggle all you want, but the more you struggled, the more you went in. And it felt sinister. It felt like death was upon you, and it was eating you alive. And this is at the height of your fear. And and the other thing was that at the height of your fear, you have a small window of two ideas, of two thoughts. The first one, submit to the death, or just allow the fear to consume you because you're afraid to make any action. And then the last one is the one that I chose in that instance was accept it but embrace it. You know, like you can accept something and not embrace it. And so if you had chosen the latter path, you're just kind of like in how do I say, despair. You're in despair. You're stuck with the emotion of despair. Whereas the other one is more of a liberating feeling where you're like, it's gonna happen, so let's see what really happens after death, you know. And that's what I thought at the time. Like, let's see if this thing really is death, then let's see what happens after death. You understand? And when that happened, I had passed through the barrier, because in the meditative state, you go in there and it feels like ages. Again, because it's however long you have to suffer the thought of fear is how long you're in there. And that could depend on the time in the dream. Time is completely different in visions, in meditations, and in dreams. So in this one, it could be like a minute, it could be like seconds, it could be days, it could be months, it could be years. But as you go through that, you come out. And now there is no more darkness. Everything's lit up. And you realize how empty the place was. There was never anything else in there with you. And again, the reason why I'm talking about this more in depth is because there was a YouTube video that I saw not too long ago where it was about meditation, and I read the comments, and there was one comment. It was a lady. I don't remember the name of the user, but the picture was of a lady, and it mentions something about like the experience I just talked about, but the opposite of it, meaning like she did it once, she meditated once, and she did get a vision, but in the vision she got scared. She said she got scared because everything was dark, and she had feared for her life, and she said after that she never did it again. Now the reason why I related to that is that because when I was younger, I didn't understand those visions, I didn't understand those dreams. I was afraid of them because I was like, I don't know what the fuck that was. I mean, sorry, I don't know what that was, but that was terrifying. And for me, it was more of like, it was constantly nudging at me and like, hey, I'm here. You know, it would be every maybe a year, maybe a few months that those kind of visions and dreams would come to me. But the scenario would change, and the thing that was unknowable or that was fear also would change its appearance. But how it relates to what I'm just saying is that that's an important part of the spiritual journey. You have to eventually face that obstacle in the spiritual realm. And it's, how do I say, I guess you could say that's what a fourth dimensional creature would look like. They would be manifesting themselves as an emotion or as a symbol of something that you have to, you know, overcome somehow. Whether it's to talk to it, whether it's to confront it, whether it's to accept it, whatever you have to do to overcome that, because that's important, especially with people with our conditions. Death is a constant. It could, I mean, for most of us who have, you know, the serious ones or the diseases that don't have cures, that's a concept you have to come to terms with. You have to accept. Because if not, either you'll be ruled by fear or you'll be stopped by fear. Okay? Remember that. That's something you have to consider every time, or before you go to sleep, or before you are going to go do something that you know you might be afraid of. All right, this is the first step in changing yourself, the first step in healing or making that disease of yours more easier to handle. Yes. Anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. My name is Angel. This is Lupus Fitness 333. This is Philosophical Talks number 16. And it's facing or fear in depth. Okay? Thank you. Please send this video to whoever you believe will benefit from this. And thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.